Let's go ahead and import our pieces. Let's go to desktop, and there we go. Bring in our body. Wing. Saddle. And eyes. Let's switch over to a mouse here. And let's make sure everything came over. So you want to make sure we're on the polygon menu. Let's go edit UVs, UV texture editor. All right, there's everything on the body. The wings, which I think I'm pretty much going to leave alone. I'm fairly happy with that. I don't even know if I'm going to bother welding those together. I think I'm okay with the seam at the front. I don't know, we'll play around with it, we'll see. Saddle looks okay. And I think the saddle is probably the simplest piece to start on, so I'll start there. Eyes are good. All right, so let's take a look at the saddle. So what I want here is I want this to be two pieces. I want the upper portion of the saddle and the lower portion of the saddle. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to flatten out any of these edges. I want everything to stay proportionate. I want everything to stay proportionate to what it is in the real world or in the virtual world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where these edges are connecting. All right, so that's coming along here, which means this side is coming along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this. And the reason why I did this inside of ZBrush and creating my islands is I wanted to be certain that the seam was exactly where I wanted it. So I created this little strip along the center line to do that. So let's cut along that edge. Let's go here. And let's move and sew. There we go. Control right click to shell. Let's come in here. Deselect everything in here. And then move and sew. There we are. Then let's go ahead and take each one of these pieces and we're going to relax out the UVs. So let's control right click and go to shell border. Actually, let's go to shell first and move this off to the side. Now let's go to shell border. Drag across. And let's relax out the interior. There we go. Do the same thing here. Shell border. And relax out. All right. Next thing I want to check for is I'm going to turn this little guy on right here. So the shaded UV display. So I can see if I have any overlapping UVs, which I do not want. That'll really make our maps look hideous. All right. And those are done. So I'll leave that alone for right now. I'm not going to worry about the layout. Let's go to the eyes. And let's take a look where it placed our seam. So let's take that edge and see where that edge is sitting. All right, it's not in a visible spot, but let's do this to be certain. Control right click, let's go to shell border, and now let's go to edges. Now let's see if it's somewhere visible. Check that out. But let's try deselecting the interior. I just want to make sure that that seam is not on the outside of the eyeball. If it is, I'm going to go ahead and re-UV this. Oh, and so it is. So let's go ahead and re-UV this, because I can't live with that. I'm going to go ahead and do one eyeball and then just double it over. So let's do mesh separate. And turn on my transparency so I just see the eyeball. All right, create UVs. We'll do spherical mapping. And actually, no, I don't want to do spherical mapping. Let's go ahead and do cylindrical. So you can see what we're doing. Let's pull that off over to the side. So what I'm doing is I'm rotating this cylinder until I get a seam that I can live with. Rotate here, and I want it to be angled right about there. All right, that I can live with. Let's go to the UVs, right click, let's go to shell border, and then let's initially just try and unfold and see if it resolves the overlapping UVs we had here, and it does. Now we want a nice clean edge here. So I'm going to take a portion of this. Let's bust this full screen. There we go. I'm going to check my seam one more time. Turn off our transparency. There we go. We're looking good. I'm going to make a little split here, and I want to make sure that I'm not hitting any areas that are visible. So what I want is a nice clean edge here and a clean edge here. So I'm going to grab the cleanest edge that I see that's not in front of the eye. I'm going to cut and sew. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut along selected edge, then let's come over here and let's deselect that for now. Deselect that. Nope, I do want those. That's good. That's sitting right there. All right, and now let's move and sew. There we go. So we have a much cleaner looking eyeball. Control right click, let's go to shell border, drag that out, click here, and let's relax. There we go. Let's go ahead and scale this guy in. Oops, the entire thing. There we go. Let's go ahead and delete this eye, the UVs I didn't like. And now let's duplicate -1 on the X. Now it's showing up black because the normals are reversed because I just turned it inside out by doing -1 on the X. Let's go ahead and say set to face. It's not going to work. Let's go ahead and do just a straight reverse. There we go. Now we're back in action. Let's also go to File. Modify. Where is it? Freeze transformations. There we are. Oh. Just reset the normals again. Reverse them again. That way we don't have that -1 on the scale X. Alright, so eyes. Let's go ahead and merge these. Combine. Now let's take a look at the wing. And I'm going to try and do as little work on the wing as possible. So let's go to shell, move this off to the side, go to shell border, shift drag select, and let's relax the UVs. I'm going to look for overlapping over here where these UVs are pretty tight, like right there. That's an issue. Where you see dark blue like that, that's a problem. So let's see what we need to do to fix that. Alright, that is not the right way. There we go. And I want to be really careful when I'm moving this around, because I don't want to move too far from the result that was already given to me. And the reason why is that when we take these into Photoshop, oh, here's another issue. It'll be a little bit more difficult to paint them because they'll be out of proportion. It won't correlate well to the model. In our live session, I believe it was Christian or Ash who brought it up, that that might become an issue. So I want to directly address that. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. Look in some of the same areas. Although I think on the bottom we're going to be okay, because we don't have that little lip that's attached to this shell. I'm trying to decide if this little guy deserves to be over on this side over here, if that makes more sense. So he fits right in there. I think he does. So I'm going to move that guy over. So let's cut. let's move it so. There we go. Yeah, that's a much better fit. Let's see how we're looking here. That's connecting to the other side. All right, I think we're good on the wings. All right, now for the body. And this is where things are going to get a little tricky.